Hello everyone, and welcome back to Banjo Tooie on the Nintendo 64. I am one well sheep yet again, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be entering the very first-person shooter sequence of this game. And these are basically sequences that we're going to be seeing quite a lot during the course of the journey, maybe like 4 or 5 times. So sit down, get your ass prepared, and get ready to get used to these, because they are everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. But before we even go into the first-person shooter sequence, we actually need to learn the first-person shooter move, which is the Breagle Buster. Buster? Buster. Breagle... Oh, is it Blaster? I wasn't reading properly. Either way, we need to go back to Jam Jaws over this side of the island here and talk to him in order to gain access to that move. And if you go right behind this giant Aztec temple, there is a treble cleft. These are worth a whopping 20 musical notes, ladies and gentlemen. So if you find that you're going through a level, you're missing 20 musical notes, then chances are there is a treble cleft somewhere that you need to pick up. And just like normal musical notes, they are littered in every single stage of the game, you know, folks. So yeah, keep your eye out for them. What can I tell you? What can I tell you? Indeed. Yes. By the way, this cow lady over here does have a bit of a fly problem, so once you destroy all of the flies in the area, I can hardly believe it. She does a lot of crop-based jokes. There can only be one pungent master, and I'm honestly convinced that that is me. Don't do all the corn jokes, lady, because you can hardly cut it. What can I tell you? What can I tell you? Indeed. But yeah, basically going into this area and shooting down all of the flies will allow you to gain access to the honeycomb, to the Jiggy itself. But I do advise actually jumping up on top of the hut first off in order to get hold of the honeycomb piece, because the honeycomb piece is very easy one to miss, you know, folks. And I do believe that is the final honeycomb piece in this world. I could be wrong. I recall it being, because I believe there are 3 honeycomb pieces in pretty much every single world. So, yeah, you need to look out for that. And what do those things do? Well, I think I've already said, but I'm just going to reiterate my point from before, just in case I haven't said it before. Those things will gain you extra health. If you gain enough of them, you will gain extra health points by going to a character that we'll be visiting a little bit later on in the game. In fact, in probably about actually, yeah, next part we'll be visiting that character. So, yeah. Let's head on into the Aztec Temple. And this is Target Sands Temple, and as you can... Temple, that's a weird way I said that then. And as you can probably guess, the boss of this world is going to be good old Target Zan himself. And as you can probably guess by his name, he's going to have something to do with targets. I'm not going to spoil it too much, but yeah, he's got a thing to do with targets. But all of these multiplayer... Well, all of these first-person shooters, you can press the R button to aim, by the way, they control essentially the exact same as GoldenEye. So if you play GoldenEye 64 and the N64, you know how to control these, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But one thing that's kind of weird about them is these are actually the most smoothest running areas in the entire game. These are the most consistently smooth areas that... And some of them even run a full 60 FPS sometimes. It's insane. Like, these are the most consistent areas in the entire game, which surprises me. But, I do believe most of these are actually multiplayer maps as well, that you can play in multiplayer mode, if you want to revisit them for whatever reason. And, for this very first-person shooter map by here, what we need to do is we need to try and collect over... Well, actually, I think it's exactly 20 tokens, and the tokens are the big glowing green things you see flying about everywhere. Basically, pick up a token, bada bing, bada boom, and when you get enough of them targets and they'll say, hey, my chamber's open, you can come in. And, that's basically our goal by here, is working our way through the little maze here, and then finding our way into his temple. That's the main gist, you know, in his main room. So that's pretty cool. But a lot of people don't like these first-person shooter sequences, and I'm partial to them. I do like them, but I kind of am a bit iffy with the level design of them, because a lot of these stages do come across as really maze-like and really awkward to traverse, and it makes sense why they are, because these feel like they're meant to be multiplayer maps first, and levels second, you know, ladies and gentlemen. So, it just comes across as, oh, we've made these multiplayer maps, what should we do with them? Hey, let's just chuck into the single player and add a couple of objectives here and there, you know. I don't know. I'm not fond of some of these. Like this one's not terrible because this first-person shooter sequence, there's no time limit or anything. You're just free to wander about at your own pace. But from the second first-person shooter sequence on, we're gonna start seeing time limits being introduced, and that makes these a hell of a lot more stressful and a hell of a lot more annoying to manage. Considering, well, it's basically a maze, and if you have a time limit to a maze, that's no good. You know, ladies and gentlemen. What can I tell ya? But anyway, what I just picked up there were golden eggs. Basically, these are I guess I could call Kazooie a basic pistol at first. These turn him into basically an AK-47 if you get my meaning. But, like, he rapid fires the bullets like insane if I just held down the Z button, which is pretty handy. But because we got a hold of 10 tokens, we were able to gain access to the slightly sacred chamber, which gave us a Jiggy, and there is another chamber in here we need to access. Do not fret, ladies and gentlemen. There is more stuff going on. If you look at that room there, that is the really sacred chamber, and if you go into there, well, I'm gonna spoil it, there's a boss fight that we're gonna end up fighting, you know, ladies and gentlemen, which is probably... It's not the easiest boss in the entire game, but it's not a hard boss, you know, folks, especially when you know what to do with him, because obviously it's the first boss of the game. So, you know, I digress. But what I don't digress with, is the fact we just picked up the White Jinjo. And what's the deal with the White Jinjo, you might be asking, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's quite simple. The White Jinjo is the first Jinjo family I have completed, because there is only one White Jinjo in the entire game. And of course, this will be in like I said, the Jinjos themselves are randomly generated, so you could very well be lucky enough to have the White Jinjo as your very first Jinjo. So up until this point, your Jiggy count may actually be different to mine. But, yeah, we got the White Jinjo, we got that family over and done with. Only a lot more families go. I forget how many colors there are in total, because I don't really pay attention to what Jinjos I collect during the course of my game. I only really pay attention to what Jinjos in each world I collect, so the colors of them really don't make a lick of difference to me. They're, you know, a Jinjo's a Jinjo. Why you gotta be all, why have you gotta be all racist against the skill color, yo? What if they were born red? What are you gonna do about that then, huh? What am I saying? But anyway, walking into this room here, it's time for the first official boss fight of the game, Target Zan. And you know, it looks like a safe room. You know, it looks like an easy Jiggy that we'll be able to get. Yeah, we'll have the game finished in no time at all, won't we? Oh, the door's closing. Oh God. Hello there. Hey, buddy. What's up? Halt, mortal. Thought you'd get another Jiggy that easily, eh? The despotic Dizzy Totem God. I love the fact that all the bosses have their own subtitles and title cards that pop up. I don't know, I always like that about certain games like this. But here we are, here's the very first boss of the game. All you need to do is shoot him in his fuck me lights, or fuck me targets, I suppose in this case. So basically just wait for it to come around and boop him. He gets harder and harder and harder with each phase. After you destroyed one of his bases, he will start sending minions out to attack you. When you see the minions, just whack them and shoot them, and he'll reinitiate his pattern yet again. Whenever you see his face right on one of these, basically on one of his columns, he will shoot at you using a dart, so try to dodge out of the way using the C buttons. And for the most part, it's a very, very, very easy boss fight, you know, ladies and gentlemen. You should not have too much trouble getting through this, especially when you get used to the controls. Like, when you first pick up the game, if you're not used to like old school N64 style first person shooter controls, then maybe you're gonna have trouble. But as soon as you're used to the controls, as soon as you're used to how the game plays, you will be able to take him out just fine. Unless you're like me and you can't even hit the bloody targets. Come on, there we go, you scrub. Gah. Frustrating. But also these boss musics as well, and like every boss has its own theme song in this game, and I have to say the boss music is pretty much Grant Kirkhope at his absolute finest. His boss soundtrack is, oh my god, some of the best work he's ever done. And that holds true for pretty much every game he's done boss music in. He does a really good job at doing dramatic, over-the-top boss themes, you know, folks. And basically every boss theme, I think, it's basically the world theme, only a lot more difficult. It's a lot more bombastic version of the world theme for the most part. So, but anyway, once you've beaten him, he will start he'll basically start off his secret self-destruct ability. So, as soon as you find out his health at 0, go behind one of these columns, otherwise you will get clipped. It's not instant kill if you get clipped by his self-destruct, but it will hurt you nonetheless, so just go behind the columns for safekeepings. And during the course of the boss fight itself, you can go behind the columns itself just to, just as block darts and stuff, but the columns I don't think last forever, so that's probably not the best tactic to use. Just dodge out of the way using the C buttons. But hey, with that, we're almost done with Mayhem Temple. We are almost 100% complete. Which basically means we are done for now. We will be returning very quickly back into this world, but we've gotten everything we can for the time being. Well, actually, I tell a lie. There is another Jiggy I can get right now, but I figured because it's in an area where I need power to get anyway, I'll go and pick it up later on. So, yeah, we're pretty much done with this world, folks. We're pretty much over and done with and accomplished. What can I tells you? What can I tells you? Indeed. Yes. Do I show me walking all the way back? I can't remember. It's been a while since I edited this. It must be... Okay, I must have shown my way going back, but... Basically, this can throw some people off finding the way out, so if... One little bit of advice I can tell people that if they can't figure out the way out of the temple is... Actually, I'd say kill themselves, but I don't know if you can do it in this particular first-person shooter sequence. But I know in later ones you can just kill yourself for a quick speedrun tactic. In fact, suicide is one of the best tactics in this entire game for speedrunning, ladies and gentlemen. I shit you not. If you want to get from one point to another point really quickly, usually killing yourself is the best method, because then you can die. And if you know where the checkpoints are in this game, like I kind of do, then you'll be able to basically abuse that to your advantage, ladies and gentlemen, which is very handy. What can I tells you? What can I tells you? Indeed. But anyway, with that is it for this part, so thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people, and I'll catch you all again. Bye!